Okay, so tonight we're going to be talking about how to talk to people. And this may sound like very kindergarten, but the truth is, like, this is 99% of what we do on a day-to-day basis. And this is how people go silver, and this is how people go diamond. And the more influential we grow and the better we get at talking to people, specifically in like the way that we phrase questions or how many words we're saying in our responses, or how long it takes us to get back to people, like that can either make or break a deal. And not just talking about the sale or them joining us, like that can make or break them then turning into a brand ambassador and wanting to share. So I wanted to first like share a few credentials, because beyond Plexus and beyond going Sapphire here, I actually have a really long sales history and I was in corporate sales for several years. I actually was hired on with a small ingredient company in Michigan and I was asked to start up our Texas region completely by myself. We were untouched in Texas, and I did over $1.5 million in sales with companies like Frito-Lay, Pepsi, Bluebell. So I'm not bragging. I'm just letting y'all know that like I had to get real freaking good at learning how to talk to people, how to ask questions, how to make people feel important, how to make them feel heard. Like I had to really become an expert in this area. And I've been able to translate that into my Plexus business, but now my goal is like to pass that on to all of you guys, to duplicate that down and to show you like some of the important things. So tonight I'm going to show y'all like more of an example, more so than like tips. It's going to be like a flow of a conversation that I've had. And I'm going to kind of point out some of the things that are super important. So I encourage y'all, if y'all have a notebook and a pen, or if you like taking notes in your phone, I just encourage y'all to jot down some things, whether it's like phrasing in the way that I ask questions, or maybe it's just notes that stick out to you as I'm speaking. Because ultimately, like our conversations are going to look different for every single person here. We all don't have the same terminology and the same lingo and the same style of like energy. But there are some key elements, and there is a flow, like a science and a chemistry, and talking with people that ultimately is going to yield to more success and more yeses and getting more people onto your team. And if you're early in this business, like getting people to say yes and making it easy for them to say yes should be your number one goal. Like that's sales 101, making it easy for your customers to say yes. And so that comes through education, it comes through conversation, it comes through influence. Like there's multiple factors. But this is what it ultimately boils down to is our conversation with them. So let's run through this. Talking to people. Okay, step one, we want to make it about them. I will just be honest and tell y'all early on, I had the tendency to take up all of the air in the room. When somebody messaged me and said, "Hey, I'm curious," or "Hey, what are you sharing about?" or "What is the pink drink?" I like would word vomit and send them like a million word long paragraph of how much I love it and how much I feel better on it and how it's so awesome and we have a deal that's going on right now. And then I would get ghosted. Why? Because I did not make it about them at all. So here's an example and something I do every single time in every single conversation. It doesn't matter if they come to me first or if I go to them first. This is the exact thing that I say every time. So if somebody comes to me, let's say I post like a pink drink post and they say, "Hey, can you send me more info or pricing on your pink drink?" Like that's something very common that I get because I share mixing up my pink drink or I'm at the gym with it. And so it's something that they see. My response every single time is, "I'd love to share all the specifics with you, but first I want to know what interests you about it." There was something that they've seen in my stories or in my posting and the repetition of those that made them interested enough to reach out to me and say, "Hey, what is this?" They don't actually just want to know the price, they want to be heard. And so it is our job to let them unfold their story, let them tell us their story, let them share all of their issues with us so that we can then like walk them through all of the different stages and ultimately give them a solution. Comprende? Everybody good with that? So when somebody says, "Hey, tell me about this, the thing that you're sharing," or "What is this?" or "What's the price?" or "What's the deal?" Our response every single time is, "What interests you about this? I'd love for you to tell me more about your situation. I'd love for you to tell me more about why this interests you." Okay, step two is relate and dig deeper. This is where we start asking vulnerable questions, and we truly have to like get comfortable with feeling uncomfortable because we don't have to be professionals, we don't have to be scientists, we don't have to be doctors in this space. We just have to make people feel important, and ultimately, people want to feel heard. Like the better we can become at listening and asking open-ended questions, the more captivated your audience is going to be by you. So this is something that they would respond after I say what interests you most. This conversation is a single flow. It's not like broken up. So I say what interests you most about it, and they say, "Sure, I've always struggled with bloating, and I've seen you share that that could help with that. Plus, it wouldn't hurt to lose a few pounds. Could it help with that too?" And I'm just digging deeper. I'm not saying, yeah, absolutely, it can help you lose weight and feel better. Here's the info. I'm digging deeper. I'm saying, yeah, I was in a similar boat before starting this, and it's helped me tremendously in both of those areas. So again, I'm relating. It's either me or it's somebody I know. And I say, oh my gosh, my friend has the same story, or oh my gosh, I was there 7 years ago. I feel your pain. Tell me more about your bloating. Is it associated with more with the food you eat, the time of day, or is it just constant? Like, how often are you able to go number two? I'm asking lots of questions in this space because I really want to get the full picture of their pain. Something I learned in my sales training is taking people through the valley of despair. So if someone comes to you and says, "Hey, what's the price?" We got to like take them through the journey. And part of that journey is the valley of despair, where they really say like, "Gosh, I'm using all these products and I feel terrible. And like sometimes it interferes with my sex life. Sometimes like I don't even know what to wear in the morning because I feel so bloated and backed up." Like there's days that I've missed social events because I don't feel myself. Like these are the types of things we want to unfold. And so really phrasing different questions around their problems to really help them build a story here. Okay, so this is where this check your symptoms checklist comes in handy. If y'all have not already seen this or you do not have it in your back pocket, this is probably the most important part of our conversation process. Not only are you going to gain all the insight, you're going to help them become more aware of things that they don't even know that are problems, things that they have just normalized as, oh, well, my doctor said it's normal because I'm female and my hormones fluctuate. Y'all, thyroid issues are not normal. Anxiety is not normal. Not being able to sleep at night is not normal. Being bedridden during PMS is not normal. And it's important to help them understand, like, we have a solution for all these things. So at the very beginning of every single conversation, this is what I'm sending because I want to capture everything that's going on in their life. And and this is the part that you write down, y'all. When you capture these facts, you then have information to follow up. If all that you have is that this person is interested, you will have no evidence to follow up on. Besides, hey girl, I know you're interested. Here's the deal. Hey girl, can I tell you more about Pink Drink? If they've told you, hey, I have hypoglycemia and I have anxiety and I have asthma and allergies, then when we have a product featured for the month that's on sale, or you see a story that resonates with their situation, we have so much ammo to say, hey, I know that you deal with these specific things. I'd love to invite you to an event tonight. My friend Sarah is sharing a story that I think is going to relate so much to what you're going through. It makes it so much more catered to them and their situation. And again, just gives you like way more intentionality to follow up. So please, please, please save this to your photo album and send this at the beginning of every conversation so that you can get this. Okay, next we're going to understand their situation and their goals. So again, we're just digging deeper. That's like what this whole journey is. We're just unfolding. So she's going to say like my bowel movements are very inconsistent even though I'm doing all the things to help. Is this like a cleanse? I don't know if y'all have had that question. I have a million times. People say, "Is this a cleanse?" And I'll say something like, "You will definitely detox on these products, but it's actually not a quick fix like a cleanse. It's a lifestyle adjustment in your daily routine and you'll yield natural healing in the process. What all have you tried to help with your tummy issues?" This is also a very normal question because I want to know how many things have they exhausted in the past that have yielded to failure? Have they tried Advocare? Have they tried keto diets? Have they tried the carnivore diet? Have they tried these weird supplements or this weird diet? Like, I want to know all the things. So, again, I'm painting this picture of why my answer is the best because what we do is really simple and really effective. But I want to understand what all they've done so that I can help them with a solution. Something else that's really important here is like a lot of people are already on probiotics and magnesium. And so then it's easy to segue and say something like, "Are you open to a replacement this month and trying our brand instead of what you're doing right now?" So it's just, again, very important and responsible to understand what all they're taking, whether it's medications, supplements, or any type of diet restrictions. Okay, next thing is we're going to present a solution and educate them. So this is where we've really gathered all of our facts and we kind of know like everything about them from a health sense. And now we get to really start to show them like what this might look like. So she'll say something like, occasionally I use laxatives, I take a multivitamin when I remember, I drink tons of water and I'm pretty healthy. I don't really know what else to do, honestly, besides drink coffee until I finally feel the urge to go. I hear that all the time. Like I have to drink coffee until I actually need to go poop. That's not healthy, by the way. So us, this is something we could say. I always like to compliment them. If they've made any effort at all to fix their health, I always like to compliment and congratulate them. So I say something like, "You're off to a great start. What I've learned is that so much of our health is in the micronutrients, what you get through supplements and vitamins to fill in the missing gaps of our diet. If I sent you a quick 3-minute video that explains this, that helps explains this, would you watch it? I'm asking for permission and I'm asking for buy-in for them to be educated, and that's important. We don't just send videos or photos. We need to ask permission if they're actually going to watch it, and they need to agree to watching it before we send it. But I'm also, again, educating on micronutrients because most people in America don't supplement and they don't use vitamins. They just eat healthy and assume all their problems are going to go away. So any little bit of education I can sprinkle in is good. But then again, I'm asking for permission if they'll watch the video. And let me just pause for a sec because I've talked to some of y'all and you say like, well, I don't really use the video because like the products look old or it feels weird or it feels salesy. Let me just help you hit the brakes real fast. Everything you are doing in conversation, whether it's through like a low-hanging fruit that like you don't even really want to sell the products to, or high-hanging fruit that you're like, wow, this person like could be like diamond tomorrow. Everything that we are doing in this conversation to sell them a product, they're already analyzing, can I duplicate this? Whether you've talked about the business or not. That lingering question of could I duplicate this is already being planted in their head. So everything you're doing, everything you're saying, they're trying to figure out can I do this with my customers? So any chance that we have to use third-party tools, that's what these are right here, our triplex video, our triplex graphic, or any additional product graphics that we have, we're then taking the pressure off of ourselves and our potential brand ambassadors to feel like experts. They don't have to then feel like, oh, I've got to go memorize all the benefits of ease, and I've got to memorize, all of those weird words like saccharides. Like, we don't have to know that. And like we've all proven, we don't have to know that to be successful here, but we have to help our customers understand that they don't have to know that. So any chance you have to share a third-party tool is just going to help your duplication efforts that much more. So I encourage y'all truly to start using these in your process and see if it changes things. Plus, it's way quicker to say, hey, can I send you a 3-minute video versus send like an entire paragraph of here's the explanation of Slim and here's the explanation of BioCleanse and this is what it does for me and this is how many I take a day. Like it really is, it's that simple. Okay, next we're overcoming price. I'm sorry, we're sharing the price and we're overcoming objections. So another really important thing to write down right now on price. Price should be the final thing that we discuss before they are ready to buy. If somebody comes to you right away and says, I love what you're sharing about the pink drink, how much is it? We will always, always, always delay answering that question until the very end of the conversation when they've agreed that this is a value-added product for them. Because if we're sharing price right away, that is all they know. And when they see $79, they say, I can't afford it. I'm just going to stick with my Alani's. I'm just going to stick with my whatever, my green tea. Because all they know is price. They don't know the benefits and they don't know of how it can actually help. Again, we're creating this story for them. So she says, I've watched the video. I'm down to try the products. Okay, great. How much is the combo? Awesome. This is when everybody starts to panic because we all think the products were expensive. And so we have this like internal fear that the products are too expensive for our customers. Can anybody relate to that? Raise your hand if you've ever had that thought. These products are going to be too expensive for my customers. Okay, like at least half of y'all, and I can't even see 80% of y'all because your cameras are off. Okay, so this is where the most uncomfortable part comes in, but I will tell you right now, this is make or break with your business. If you were sitting here and you're like, wow, I'm doing everything and I'm recruiting and I'm posting and I can't get anyone to do the business and my retention sucks, this is your golden ticket. This is your answer. We have got to be getting on the phone. So here's how I respond when somebody says, hey, can you tell me the price? I'm actually in an exact conversation like this. And the girl just said, can you tell me the price? And this was my response. Based on what you're telling me, I think this could be a really great fit for you. And I think it's going to help truly alleviate some of your day-to-day discomfort or your pain or your frustrations, however you want to word that. Thank you so much for being open to chatting with me. If it's convenient for you right now, I can call you really quick to help break down pricing and explain what to expect with this. I can also help answer any more questions that you may have. I would say half of the people respond with yes. You can call me right now or you can call me in the morning. The other half of the people are going to say no. And that is okay too, because the conversation flow that I'm about to teach you is the same in each one. And this is probably the most essential part of your onboarding system, that's going to lead to A, better retention, and B, more potential of duplication. So I'll tell y'all a quick story. My very first phone conversation to ever conduct, I was probably gold. And I was so eager to grow. Like I was posting all the time. I was recruiting pretty good, but I was so eager to grow my points. And I remember, I don't remember who it was, but somebody told me I had to start getting on the phone. And I was like, I don't even know what that looks like. I don't even know what I would say. And they were like, just figure it out. Like get on the phone and figure it out. So I made the decision to call a newer customer. This was 7 years ago. Okay. She was a newer customer at the time. And I knew she was having good results with her products. So I felt like if I jumped on the phone with her, I would have good potential of her like receiving a discussion about the income or the business because I knew she loved her products. So let me tell you why this phone conversation was so intimidating. We're talking about overcoming fears. Okay. Why this was so intimidating. This girl cheated on how do you say this? She had a fling with my very first boyfriend while I was dating him. Okay? My very first boyfriend, the first guy I ever kissed, this was my first thing in 8th grade. She had a thing with him while I was dating him. Okay? And then years later, she became one of my first Plexus customers. And I made the decision to phone call her and ask her if she was interested in the business or the income opportunity. So, talk about doing uncomfortable things. Always eat the big frog first. And this was the big frog for me in my back office. So, I called her and I, basically complimented her for her consistency on the products. I asked her some questions like, how are you doing? Can you explain like specifics, how you're feeling? And then I said, hey, I don't know if I've ever shared this with you before, but there's also an income opportunity available to you with the account that you have with Plexus. Would you be open to me sharing that with you? And I am pretty sure my throat was like the size of a toothpick and I wanted to vomit and my armpits were so sweaty and I was rashy all over. But I had to have that conversation to get out of my own way and start embracing the discomfort so I could grow through that confidence. I've gained so much confidence through that one conversation, but because I chose to do it over and over, like I truly feel like I mastered the phone piece. And this, I truly feel like, is what has led to so much duplication. So let me tell you, this is the spiel. Okay, so we say something like when they say, hey, I want the price, you say, before we talk price, I want to share a few important things so that about this process so you know exactly what to expect. And you say, can you jump on the phone? If they say no, fine. I'll voice text them, and it's usually like a 3 or 4 minute voice text. And here's the spiel. Okay, there's like 4 parts to the spiel, so you might just want to screenshot. Okay, bullet point number 1. We always, always, always talk about detox. Why? Detox highlights the importance of consistency and it highlights the importance of a 90-day commitment to this process. We do not want people who are going to be here for a week. We do not want people who are going to cancel in a month. We want people who are at least willing to try this for 90 days so that they can get through detox and truly start feeling transformed. So this is what I say almost every single time. I'm not sure how familiar you are with this word, but this will be a huge focus going into this journey. Typically, detox takes place around day 60 to 90, but it only happens with consistency on your products. It's the final stage of toxic elimination in your body, and your symptoms may get worse before they get better. But it is an essential part of the process to heal the root issues in your body. That being said, do you think you could give this a full 90 days of consistency and stay open in communication with me during this time? Again, I'm asking for permission because not everyone wants to be texted every 3 days in their journey. And I'm also asking if she'll give this 90 full days before she quits. And if she says yes, your retention rate is already going to go up. I don't think I've maybe had a few people say no. And I normally will say, that's okay. I get that commitment's scary. We'll take it month to month. Most people will say yes because they're desperate to change. So then they say, yeah, that sounds good. And I say, okay, awesome. So what this looks like, since you've agreed to 90 days, is that you're going to place your first order today for, I'm just threw some numbers in here, 125 plus a one-time membership fee of $10 that gives you annual access to all of our products at wholesale price. By the way, that's what I pay and everybody on my team. Then in 30 days, your card on file is going to be auto charged for, you're going to give them a price again, 121. And then the same thing's going to happen on day 60. Does that work for you? So you've then laid out what the next 3 months of their entire journey is going to look like. So there's nothing scary happening. There's none of that, oh my gosh, my sub just went through and you didn't tell me and I don't have money on my card and it's your fault, sponsor. You've already laid it out for them exactly what's going to happen for their 90 days of commitment. Then when they say yes, you're going to say, okay, awesome. Okay, so here's a few benefits to utilizing your subscription mentioned. One, it's going to keep you on track with your product so that you aren't scrambling to order more at the end of the month when you run out. Because by the way, all of our products are designed for a 30-day supply. And so you really want your subscription on so that you're not running out of products before your next order comes out. Two, each month your sub goes through, you're going to earn something called Plexus Perks, and you'll be able to redeem for a free product on your third order. It's a really awesome reward system to encourage consistency. So that being said, like what type of product, based on what we discussed with ease and active, like what product do you think you'd want to grab for free on your third month? Like I'm already casting vision and I'm already getting commitment for their free product to redeem on month 3 with their perks. And that is so, so, so important because then they look forward to it. Okay, and this is the last piece that I say, whether I'm on the phone or I am sharing a voice text, I always, always, always do this part. And we're dripping the business. We are sharing the business. So I always say, last important thing to mention, when you are checking out and you're on the checkout process, you're going to be asked to create a referral link. And I want you to know what that is. Just like I'm sharing with you, if at any point in your journey you have a friend that you want to share with, you can send them your link and make an easy $20 bonus. Personally, I never really saw this turning into an income stream for me, but once I realized I couldn't go without the products, I just needed a way to make it more financially feasible month to month. So I actually reached out to my sister. I knew she was struggling with her weight. I called my mom. I knew she had tummy issues. And then I went home and I made my first post about it on Instagram. And I think I just like blew my audience away with my results because I had several of my friends from college in my DMs asking about what I was doing and how they could get a hold of the products. I quickly earned my first $300 that month. And with time, this has grown into a 6-figure business that's allowed me to walk away completely from corporate sales to be a full-time stay-at-home mom. And the blessings of the finances and the trips have just been so unexpected and out of this world. But now I have such a passion to help others do the same. So I am just curious if you think at any point, like yes or no, do you feel like if you have good results, you might be open to sharing with some of your friends? And some of them are like, oh, I don't know, maybe, let's see. And some of them are like, absolutely. Like, I love sharing on social media. This is probably the most important part of the entire training tonight is we have to start sharing about the business before they say yes to the products. Because you're already planting the seed, you're already casting vision, and you're already showing them exactly what you did to go silver. And even if you're not a 6-figure earner, or maybe you're not even $1,000 a month earner, you can cast the vision with them and say, in the next 6 months, I'm going to walk away from my job. In the next 6 months, I'm going to be earning $1,500 a month. That's going to allow us to pay off credit cards early and send our kids to private school. Like whatever that why is for you in the future, even if it's not the now, it is so important to be casting that vision and showing these people what is possible beyond silver. Okay, if we've gone through all of this, this is the final part in the sales journey. This is called closing. And I feel like so many people are scared to ask the question, are you ready to order? But this is truly how we navigate. Have we answered all their questions? Have we created enough value? And have we shown them enough reason to say yes to this? If they say no, thank you, or not right now, or I need to talk to my husband, or any of those objections, actually, none of those are true. What they're really saying is you haven't shown me enough value to say yes to the price that you're telling me. And so the price and the value are not matching up. So then it's our job to not only follow up, but continue adding so much value through our social media that these people can't say no in the future. Because then we've got their pain points. We know that they're dealing with Hashimoto's. We know that they're dealing with migraines. We know that they're dealing with whatever else. And we can start hitting on that in our stories. We can start hitting on it in our posting and what we're sharing. And we're going to speak directly to them because we have that information already. And then again, just closing question. Are you ready to check out? Can I help you jump on the computer right now? I can help you set up an account. By the way, don't mean to rush you, but I have a $10 off code that expires tonight at midnight if you want to jump on the computer right now and I can help you walk through this. Always creating urgency will help them say yes to that closing question. How are we feeling about all that?
Hey, will you
Okay.
explain how to do a $10 off code for those that don't know that they can do it for them for their own customers from like their own money, I guess?
Yeah, so occasionally we will have deals throughout the month. Sometimes it's a flash deal, sometimes it's all month, where like our enrollment code will be $1 instead of $10. So like you can be your own like marketing advisor in that piece and be like, hey, like I've got a $10 off code. And like make it specific and catered. Make them feel special. If you say I have a code with your name on it, like that makes people feel more special than oh, we're doing free enrollment all month because then you're not giving them a deadline. So that's an option. Another option, like Patty was saying, is like you can go to your Plexus Paylution and you can create some vouchers. You can do $10 off, $20 off, however much money you're willing to spend. And you can type those into their checkout process and it will take off that money. Something else you can do if you don't want to go that route is you can literally Venmo people. I know Taylor's done that a lot. When she's, trying to hit numbers, she'll just like shoot them $20 from Venmo. It's just a little bit easier and she just offers it like as a rebate. So there's many ways that you can go about it. But yeah, thanks for that question. Any more questions on this piece? I will tell y'all, I think I shared with some of the girls at convention. The month that we went Emerald, that's probably the hardest I've ever worked in my life with this. It was a challenge because we basically had to double our points. Not quite that much, but it felt like it. And I spent about 5 hours a day on the phone between recruiting new customers and doing three ways with my new girls who were sharing the business. And so the key is like we gain confidence through these conversations and then we can start trickling it down. So our brand new girls who come into our business, we can say, "Hey, let's put this person on a three-way phone call. I'm going to jump on and basically show you the ropes." If this is like a paralyzing thought to you and you're like, there is absolutely no way I can have this conversation, grab your nearest like active sponsor in your upline and we're happy to jump on the phone with you and like show you as an example a couple times. But I truly feel like, honestly, may just be my business. I feel like jumping on the phone with people and talking about these points is make or break if you're ready to start duplicating. Okay, so we're gonna go into breakouts here in just a sec and talk about that. But one other thing we want to talk about tonight is something called an elevator pitch. This basically is like the 30-second explanation as to what you do. Like if somebody were to ask you on an elevator, you just have such a short window to explain, and so that's why it's called an elevator pitch. So this changes all the time for me. I think it depends on my mood of the day. But this is like something very common, I would say, when somebody says, "What do you do?" Like, because I'm at the park often, so obviously I have free time, but I'm not just a stay-at-home mom, and I never want to just hide behind that um label of, oh, I just am a stay-at-home mom. Like I had to grow through this confidence. And the story I can tell y'all with this was when I made the choice to quit my job. I was at a Gold and Above retreat with Jordan Roddenberry, my sponsor. We were in Scottsdale, Arizona, and there was like five of us, I think. Like literally, if her entire team, there was five people that qualified for this gold retreat, if that tells you how small her business was then. And I wasn't quite ready to quit my job, but I felt like I knew I needed to quit my job to grow my business where I wanted it to be. And I just wanted more energy to give my Plexus business and to give my team. And it was a terrifying thought. Pretty sure I had a panic attack. But on my way home from that trip, I sat next to a stranger. And even though I still had like 90 days left in my full-time job, I gave them a 3-month notice so that they could figure their lives out without me. So I had time left in my business. I didn't want to state that as my role anymore. Like I wanted to embrace this entrepreneurship space as my new title. And so she asked me what I did, and I was absolutely terrified, much like I was in that conversation with the girl who had a fling with my boyfriend. And it was terrifying, but I made it through it and I grew so much in confidence in that moment. And then I just forced myself to continue that over and over. And I didn't shy away from what I did. And every time I did it, I got a little bit better and a little bit more confident. So this is like basically what I'll say today. I always like to highlight my past because, at one point I kind of was cool in the corporate world. And I say I was in corporate sales previously. I worked for Smuckers. Like I was a West Texas sales manager. I was really great at what I did. But I started having some really weird health issues shortly into my career. And honestly, I just felt like working 40 plus hours a job in a stressful career that like I was not passionate about. I didn't feel like it was going to help my situation or help my health. So I actually just retired flat out one day, about 7 years ago with the hope of growing my own business. I wanted to help women with their health issues, and I also wanted to help them earn an income from their phone. But I also wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. And that combination has been way better than I could have ever expected. So I've done exactly that for the past 7 years, and it's been absolutely life-changing. Like that is something I will say to a stranger at the park when they ask me, what do I do? And so I truly think that growing through the discomfort of questions like that when we're on the moment and we can't just respond via text, whether we turn red or sweaty or whatever, our voice starts cracking, like we've got to get more comfortable with saying what we do if we want to grow in confidence. So tonight we're going to go into breakouts and we're going to start sharing what our elevator pitch is going to look like. Allie, did you want to talk about anything else in breakouts?
Um, no, that's it. Just elevator pitch and your story, basically. Can you just create one breakout room for Haley Jenkins? We're gonna do it together.
Yes, so one for me and one for Jenkins, or no? What are you saying?
One for